Hi, I'm Greg Gutfeld, now with free Wi-Fi. Here's what's coming up. Trump blows Putin a kiss. Clinton gives her war plan to ISIS. That almost rhymed. Tonight, your choices for Commander-in-Chief. Then, what is Aleppo? Gary Johnson didn't know. President Obama knew and did little about it until now. So what's worse? And will students do better in school without homework? Tyrus and Kat debate it like they're running for office. Let's get started, America. These spanks are killing me. Let's welcome tonight's guest. He creates more drama than Taylor Swift. Actor Nick Searcy, formerly of the hit series I Loved It, Justified, and currently starring in Greater in theaters now. She's so bright, she gives the GPS directions. Nomiki Konst, Democratic strategist and host of The Filter on Sirius XM's Progress Channel. He uses SUVs as roller skates. TNA wrestler Tyrus. And when life gives her lemons, she stares at them and cries. National Review reporter Katherine Timpf. It was an hour with Lauer, a spat with Matt, two terriers on a carrier, the host somewhat hairier. Wednesday night, NBC hosted a forum on the Intrepid, giving us a first glimpse of what Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump might face in the upcoming debates. Hillary, haunted by a past misdeed. Donald, his lurid Twitter feed. And Hill acted just like Bill. Deny, deny, deny.
Classified material has a header which says top secret, secret, confidential. Nothing. And I will repeat this, and this is verified in the report by the Department of Justice. None of the emails sent or received by me had such a header.
She said header. What does that remind me of?
I want you to listen to me. I'm going to say this again. I did not have sexual relations with that woman.
Too soon? She should have just said, I did not have sex with that server. Later, Donald took heat for an awful tweet. After a question about females being sexually assaulted in the military, there was this.
In 2013, on this subject, you tweeted this, quote, 26,000 unreported sexual assaults in the military, only 238 convictions. What did these geniuses expect when they put men and women together?
Well, it is a correct tweet. There are many people that think that that's absolutely correct.
There are some people who think. I think he's saying men and women should never work together. Yeah, that sounds perfectly reasonable. Matt Lauer got a lot of flack for being too hard on Hillary, but that's what happens when you keep a morning show host up too late. They get a little cranky. But all of this was the result of media abstinence. People like Matt have been deprived for so long of any contact with Hillary that when it finally happens, you explode all over the place, and then it's over before you know it. Later in the week, both candidates updated their sound bites.
To defeat ISIS, we must use military warfare, but also cyber warfare, financial warfare, and ideological warfare. We must also establish a bipartisan goal in the United States and an international goal with our allies of defeating radical Islamic terrorism.
And we talk specifically about a strategy to protect us from that threat here at home. We went into detail on what it will take to surge our intelligence to help us detect and prevent attacks before they happen. We also discussed methods to disrupt online recruitment so they stop reaching and radicalizing young people on the internet.
It's like a pledge drive request on PBS. I'm still waiting for my tote bag. So who won this outing? Let's go to our focus group.
Who are you voting for?
Take that, Frank Luntz. Nick, I'd like to compliment you on your wardrobe, but I would be lying.
It's an homage to Tyrus.
I know you did. It's amazing. I can't tell you two apart.
I'm the mini Tyrus.
You're the mini Tyrus. You're tiny Ty.
What if I went bowling?
What?
If I went bowling?
Yeah, you're like a bowling. You're like a bowling rapper. All right, I'm going to ask you about when you watched the Wednesday night. I believe it was Wednesday night.
I think it was.
Yes. What was your take home? Who won? What did you get from it all?
Well, I couldn't stay awake through Hillary's thing, but the Trump piece, one of the greatest lines I've ever heard in any sort of presidential debate or forum was when Trump said that we're losing jobs like we're a bunch of babies.
Yes.
I've been laughing about that for 3 days. It's like you could put that with anything.
Right.
You know, we're going to go out for drinks after like we're a bunch of babies.
Yes. It's like when you say you add in bed.
In bed, yeah.
Yes.
You can just do like we're a bunch of babies.
Yeah, like
I'm going to have Chinese food like we're a bunch of babies.
It really does work with everything, unless you're a baby. Like I'm going to. What does a baby do?
Yeah,
you know, I should probably stop.
I'm going to change my diapers like we're a bunch of babies. That really doesn't.
Yes.
That's not going to work.
It's not.
Unless you're just old and you have diapers.
Yes, exactly. Nomiki, how did your? You were a Sanders supporter.
Oh yeah.
Who do you think won out of the two there? Hillary, Trump. Yeah, obviously.
I actually, honestly, I'm going to say Hillary Clinton. And it's because she was able to say, I know countries, I know leaders, and that's why I'm going to be a better president. And she actually smiled more than Donald Trump, even though RNC chair Reince Priebus said that she smiled less than Donald Trump.
Right.
So the reality is you have a choice between a leader who knows countries and locations and can say a full statement without insulting a whole demographic, and someone who's a narcissistic buffoon.
I don't know who you're talking about, but you know what I noticed? Hillary up there, she would sit. And then she would stand, and she would sit, and she would stand, which is proof to me that she is a shape-shifting lizard.
Yes, I think so.
All right? I would think she's not really a shape-shifting lizard, Tyrus. They're going after Trump for his tweets. They're going after her for her past experience. Trump has the advantage. He doesn't have a record.
To go back, that smile she had is the same smile I have when, like, my child support payments get higher. I'm just saying. Like, I got a smile, but damn. And the thing about Hillary was she was getting mad.
Yes, yes.
And Lowry was, all of a sudden, I was like, wow, man, she's about to admit it. Yeah, I ordered the code red on the server. I had the hammers in. I did what had to be. I did it, okay?
Just like a climate.
I ordered the code red.
It was just like a
No
climate.
further questions.
Like on Law and Order, when all of a sudden the person goes, yeah!
Yeah. What you want me to do?
Yes.
Bill cheated.
Yeah.
And nobody liked me. You know, that was.
They'd still vote for him.
Yeah, we would.
Yeah, we would. We're voting for Bill.
And Donald can pretty much, at this point, other than walking out and punching a baby in the face, he pretty much says whatever he wants to, and it's just sound bites. He doesn't. I don't think he believes half the stuff he says.
Yeah, but does anybody else? And nobody cares. Kat, Hillary's past is more checkered than a game of checkers.
Good one.
Thank you. Anyway, it's not really a question.
Well, I mean, and that was brought up, which was a good thing.
Yes.
And that's why everyone said he was too tough on her and he was unfair. But actually what that was called fair.
Right.
He stood up to her, and whenever people kind of stand up to her, they're always called sexist. It's unfair. Like, I remember in the primary debates when she kept interrupting Bernie Sanders, and he said, "Excuse me, I'm talking," which is very polite. Everyone went nuts. Like, they made it sound like he had said, "Shut up, woman," and spit in her face based on their reaction.
Yes.
So, it's about, I hope that doesn't continue every time anybody tries to hold her accountable.
Dude, it's like the media is losing their head over how Hillary was treated. Like she's like they're treating her like a MyPillow, By the way, MyPillows, the best pillow in the world. I own 500 of them. I build a fort out of them in my basement. They don't smell very good, but that's not my fault. No, but I mean, it's like, how did Matt Lauer did a fine job, I thought.
Well, it's like either Hillary is like the smartest woman in the world and can do the job as well as any man, or she's what? She's a little lady and you can't talk mean to my meemaw? I don't get it.
It's a good point, Nomiki. Like if you're treating her like a Fabergé egg, that's sexist.
Yeah. Well, okay, so full disclosure, as we know, I was a Bernie Sanders supporter, and I've never been laid on Hillary Clinton. But as a woman who works in politics, who works with journalists, you have to be sensitive to these issues, especially when he cut her off more than Donald Trump. Donald Trump went unfact-checked by Matt Lauer.
But saying that maybe he was too easy on Donald Trump still isn't saying that he was treating Hillary unfairly. Those aren't mutually exclusive. He could have been too easy on Trump and still treated her fairly.
But who picked him? That's what I want to know.
Yes.
Why
I did.
There's a big difference.
What?
Fact.
Donald Trump's like, yeah. Hillary's like, furthermore, when I first came to it, you have to understand, if you go back and there's these long stories, and you're like, all right, 6 minutes in, we need another question. So you have to cut her off because she'll just try to answer one question for 30 minutes and be like, thank you, good night, and be out. Where Donald's like, yeah.
Yeah, you know why he does yeah?
Yeah. That was a good tweet.
Yeah.
You know why he does yeah? Because that causes the host to move on or to answer his own question. So he'll ask him about a certain thing that he doesn't know anything about, and he'll go, It's like, the difference between Hamas and Hezbollah. And then they go, well, one of them says, one of them says, yes, I know.
And he also does something that's very cool, too, that I used to do when I was a kid. Who told you to do that, people?
Generals!
Many
Generals
people,
over there! Look,
those guys,
5 people, and they're very good people.
What are their names? There's a lot of people. Everyone
the thing that bugged me the most, there were two things. One thing I liked when he says that if somebody says nice things about him, he'll say nice things back, which is what reciprocity, what his whole life is you be nice to him, he'll be nice to you. But the thing that bugs me is the Putin stuff is a bit strange. It's a bit strange.
And it's sarcastic. He's not really being nice to him. If you break down the translation, he says he's a magical man.
Yes.
And I've never seen him do a magic trick.
Yes.
So, you know what I'm saying? Like, I think he's like, get in, I can't wait, we're going to have some fun.
Yeah. Well, Putin makes people disappear.
Yeah.
So technically.
Like Paul Manafort.
Exactly.
And Putin talks to us like we're a bunch of babies.
Yeah, it's true. There you go, like we're a bunch of babies. All right. Stick around like a bunch of babies. Gary Johnson doesn't know what Aleppo is. And I suppose we all do? Pop quiz for the studio audience next. It was the flub heard round the world.
What would you do if you were elected about Aleppo?
About
Aleppo.
And what is Aleppo?
You're kidding.
No.
Well, that was awkward. Let's watch that again.
Go!
That actually hurt less. But what's sadder than Gary's error are all the dopes slamming him as if they knew what Aleppo was. Hell, even the New York Times, they can't get it right. Behold these corrections, okay? The first one, an earlier version of this article misidentified the de facto capital of the Islamic State. It is Raqqa in northern Syria, not Aleppo. Correction! An earlier version of the above correction misidentified the Syrian capital as Aleppo. It is Damascus. So you just read a correction of a correction to an article about Johnson not knowing Aleppo. If you wait 10 minutes, there will be a correction of that correction. Believe me, I work in media. When most people hear Aleppo, they think it's an artificial sweetener. Worse, there are people who know what Aleppo is, but they don't care because it's far away and it's not our fight, and we're lucky not to be born there. On Friday, the U.S. and Russia announced a plan to bring peace to Syria. But don't hold your breath. Meanwhile, some Trump and Hillary supporters say Johnson's gaffe is a disqualifier. Really? Remember when Trump said he got his military advice from the shows? Or when Hillary claimed not to know how to wipe a server while she was wiping a server? Let's face it, the other two candidates emit gaffes like bulldogs breaking wind. But this is the problem with libertarians. That isolationist shrug in the face of foreign horror. They ignore the luck of birth, that it's easy to be libertarian in New Mexico, not so much in Liberia. But at least Johnson took responsibility. No one made excuses for him, including himself. He owned his mistakes, which is often harder than owning buildings. You're a Gary Johnson fan. You do like him. How did you feel when this happened, and how do you feel about the response?
Right, okay, so I was embarrassed for him and for myself. It was really, really bad. It was an awful thing, and I've criticized him for it a lot. But then I was thinking a little bit more, and I was like, so Donald Trump didn't know what Brexit was when he was asked. Remember when Hillary Clinton, somebody asked her how she felt about President Obama's endorsement, and she said, try the cold chai, it's delicious?
Yes.
I feel like that is way worse.
Yes.
No one's running around saying, can you believe she doesn't know who Obama is? People just kind of let it go. And if you want to say, if you want to make that a disqualifier, then both of them are disqualified too. Because, you know, Trump, in a lot of interviews, was asked about ISIS leaders. He didn't really know. Hillary is captain of team, I don't know. Whenever she, I don't know. If you support her and you believe that she's telling the truth about her emails, you're saying that you believe she doesn't know how to handle classified information, even though her job's to handle classified information, that she doesn't know that maybe things about drone strikes, discussions about drone strikes might be sensitive information, even though you're talking about a military operation. And that's a little more serious than like not knowing something in a television appearance. The stakes are a little bit higher. So let's all gain some perspective. It was really embarrassing, but come on. The reaction was so overblown. It's ridiculous.
Wow. Anybody disagree with that? Yes. Oh, go to Nomiki.
Best press Gary Johnson has had to date.
Yeah, that's true.
He is so close to getting to 15%, and then he's like, Aleppo? I'm an isolationist. I don't pay attention to other countries because that's not my job. I'm in the philosophical party, which is
So
the
would you say
libertarian
that
party.
that means Hillary Clinton didn't know who Obama was because she answered about the chai tea?
Using your theory before about not using, you know, we have to all grade them all equally. You're running for president. You should know where countries are. You should know where states are. You should know where capitals are, especially if your entire party is based off of your perspective on foreign policy. And so I criticize Hillary Clinton, but that's strategic. Her I don't know is like, I don't want to be caught in some sort of litigation saying something.
See, I'm not even defending what he said. I said it was a huge mistake and it was embarrassing and I hated it. But the reaction of only that one thing is disqualifying when they both have done the same thing repeatedly is insane.
Get rid of all of them. I just want to get rid of all of them.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Yeah.
You can say that, but you can't say they're better than he is when they're not.
I'm not. They all suck.
Tyrus, how's your neck?
I just felt, I've been there where he's at.
Yes.
I was at a Thanksgiving dinner one time with all the family and stuff, and my grandmother said, she said, I was looking through your computer, and I was curious to what some kind of site, and I just remember, excuse me, and you just leave.
Yes.
He should have just left.
He should have just left.
He should have just left.
Yes, exactly.
But another thing, at least he didn't do this, though. You know what Aleppo is? Well, what did Donald Trump do to Aleppo? And let's not bring up Hillary in Aleppo, you know, because you know that she didn't check her emails down there, and I'm sure, you know, and Donald, he bought something there and didn't pay for it. So don't ask me, ask them. Don't ask me about Aleppo. Why don't you get them in here and tell them about some Aleppo? I'm a libertarian, you know.
Yeah, I got it.
Vote for me is vote for freedom.
Kick, I liked his response.
Yeah.
When he thought it was an acronym, and he admitted it. But he said, "Look, I own it," and he says, "You know, if that disqualifies me, so be it."
Well, I mean, if the question had been, what do you think about the humanitarian crisis in Aleppo or something?
Yeah.
It was more of a gotcha question. I mean, you know, I wouldn't have caught that on the first go round either. I would have thought like, you know, the sixth Marx brother.
Yeah.
Or,
I think honestly what shocked everybody is he gave an honest answer.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's something we're not used to anymore.
Yeah.
He didn't know.
Yeah, he said,
And
"I
since
don't
when
know."
is it a crime to be honest about not knowing?
And you know what I really hate? Cable TV, where there are people that are on cable TV who are condemning him for this, even though they can't say they could never have the guts to say, "I don't know." They could never do that. They have, even when they're writing on a half an inch of depth of information where they haven't even read about the topic, they will never admit that they don't know.
What's Aleppo?
Yeah.
Aleppo is it's a tragic place right now. It was a target of chemical attacks, and you got the Russian Air Force essentially protecting Syria while they're destroying the place. It's tragic.
I thought it was,
pretty good.
I wasn't trying to put you on the spot. I was actually calling myself out.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, I was ready.
The numbers of people Googling Aleppo after that happened just shot up because nobody knew what it was. But at the same time, they're like, can you believe it? I know what it is because you just Googled it is why.
But this is pretty much, I mean, it's not like Gary Johnson had a big chance. This just made it so that he's probably not going to end up on the debate stage.
Which would be awesome if he was. I mean, just for politics in general, I'd love to see it.
He could break him up.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
Kind of like what I'm doing right here.
Yeah, he could, yeah, exactly.
He'd be standing in the corner like, well, look, I don't know. Like, that's great.
I don't know. I mean, the thing is about marijuana.
I think everyone's a libertarian. They just don't know it.
I've been in this business for a while as a governor. All right, coming up, my birthday. Seriously, it's Monday. I wear a medium and everything. But first, Hillary's emails. Will they ever go away? I hope not. They're so adorable when they're mad.
Emails. FBI probe. Private server. Classified info. Emails.
Yeah, we're trying. It's news most foul for a man named Powell. In new emails released by the FBI, Hillary Clinton asked Colin Powell what restrictions there were on his BlackBerry device, and he gave her some tips. He didn't have a BlackBerry, but he writes, quote, "What I did do was have a personal computer that was hooked up to a private phone line," clever, "so I could communicate with a wide range of friends," wish I had that, "directly without it going through the State Department servers." But he also warned her, quote, "If it is public that you have a BlackBerry and it is government and you are using it to do business, it may become an official record and subject to the law. Be very careful." I got around it all by not saying much and not using systems that captured the data. Powell now says he wasn't trying to influence Clinton, and he stands by his decisions regarding how he handled email information while in office. Translation, keep me out of this. I'm retired. All I want to do is sit at home in an open robe watching Facts of Life reruns while drinking wine from a mug. So that's what I do. That's what I would do. I still do. Meanwhile, Trey Gowdy, you remember him with the hair? He says a worker from Platte River Networks who handled the server deleted Hillary's emails after talking to Clinton aides. Clinton claims the worker deleted all the emails on his own. He went rogue, throwing yet another lowly peon under her campaign bus. There's a lot of people under there, Tyrus. How do you feel about this topic? Huge scandal, bigger than Watergate.
Actually, I just watched All the President's Men on the plane flying back from Japan, where I wrestled M1. And that actually was some good stuff.
Right.
I mean, Redford, there was some Hoffman, there was some stuff going on. Money's changing, guys losing jobs.
Right.
It was cool, it was hot, and like you're like, wow, this is really interesting. Then there's the emails.
Yeah.
I don't even. Here's the thing. If what Colin Powell laid out for her was a pretty, like, listen, you can do this for personal stuff. Just don't do it very much. But if you ever cross it over, you could be in trouble with the law. You can't get any more. Do not send work emails to your personal server, or you're going to get in trouble, Hillary.
But it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Even let's say that Colin Powell did tell her to do all this stuff. And so what? She just goes, okay. So she's a person who just does whatever people tell her to do. Wow, what a great leader. She should be the president. That's ridiculous. The things that she uses as defenses are even worse than her just being a criminal, because if she was a criminal and she was good at it, that'd be one thing. But she's so bad at it, she just, oh, I told people what to do. Oh, I don't know. And those are your defenses? Man, that's bad.
Ooh.
Well, my point wasn't really, I was agreeing with you. So just lower the guns?
Never.
Put those guns away.
You can floss with that.
Flexing is hard to think,
All right, kids. Hey, Nick,
wrestle off.
The thing that bugs me most about this is that she doesn't hesitate in throwing people under the bus. So there's some employee at Platte River or wherever who's told to scrub it with that bit stuff, whatever, bleach bits. And then she says, oh, he did it himself.
Yeah, yeah. You know, I thought we were going to talk about the coughing. That's much more interesting. And I think she does the coughing every time somebody sort of gets close to, you know, finding out something bad about her. She throws in a coughing fit.
She has an email caught in her throat.
Yeah.
No, you know, okay, but the point, Nomiki, that Nick is making is that the trivial stuff is more exciting than the deep stuff. The coughing is nothing. She's got an allergy, but everybody likes to talk about it, including myself.
You figured it out.
Yes.
It's a strategy.
Yeah.
It's a strategy. Nobody wants to sit there and debate how conflicts of interest work and how the emails could possibly show some sort of conflicts of interest or not. Nobody wants to talk about the legalities. I mean, this is a woman who's gone through how many investigations, like with her husband? 10, 11, they know exactly what to say at the right times, and it might be boring, it might not be sexy politics, but it's really great legal move, which is, look at me coughing over here, distract everybody by the cough.
That is a conspiracy. Her cough is a distraction from the emails.
Joe, all I know how to do is cough. Well, then do something.
Well, I think they were going to have Bill have another affair, but he couldn't do it.
No, really.
It's like a wag the dog.
Maybe the emails that were deleted were sexy emails with Putin.
Oh, we have come full circle.
That's the October surprise. I know it.
Yeah, well, that's his nickname.
Or, Bill, why don't you answer your phone? I called you 6 times. I know you got this. I can see you read it. Call me now. You're not at the golf course. I called. Where are you, Bill? Like, those are, you know, who wants that out there?
George Bush.
I don't know. I think that this email scandal suffers for not being exciting enough, but it's the boring stuff that kills you. It's it's like you don't die by getting struck by lightning. You die from like years and years of heart disease. It's boring, but it kills everybody. That's the same thing with this email scandal. It's, well, maybe not, but it's close enough. It's something that could be dangerous later. Right?
It's like heart disease then.
Okay.
Is that what you're saying?
I guess so.
Yeah.
It was a terrible analogy.
Also, some people could have lost family members to lightning who'll be watching the show.
Yes, that's true. But not a lot of them.
Got hit by lightning.
Really?
Yeah.
Well,
No.
save that story for tomorrow.
Less like yours.
Coming up, a story so hot it'll burn your eyes off. I didn't even know that was coming up. So, who's playing Captain Sully? You guessed it, another white male. Typical. We discuss Hollywood's diversity problem next.
Would like to be part of our studio audience, email Greg Tix at foxnews.com.
In the movie Lincoln, the president was played by a white man. In the movie Patton, the general was played by a white man. In the movie Frost Nixon, both Frost and Nixon were played by white men. All the best roles go to white men. Why is that? Why can't an Asian woman play Ray Charles? Why can't a young black man like Tyrus play Margaret Thatcher? Why can't a pile of feces play Ed Snowden? These are questions no one asks, probably for good reason. A new report from USC calls Hollywood, quote, the epicenter of cultural inequality. Turns out most movies still star and are made by white dudes. Researchers looked at the top 100 grossing films of 2015 and found that nearly 74% of the speaking characters were white, 12.2% were black, 5.3% were Latino, 3.9% were Asian. For more on this story, we caught up with one of Hollywood's top directors. He actually won an Oscar for The English Patient. Terrific movie. Nick, you are a Hollywood actor with an amazing pool, I might add.
Heated.
It's a heated pool. Like nobody has an unheated pool. All right.
We do.
I know people.
We do.
Oh, really?
In my family's house, we have an above-the-ground unheated pool. It's fun for about 4 minutes.
Most of everything is fun for 4 minutes. Can I? Diversity problem? Is there one?
No.
No.
Yeah, well, I got 2 words for you. Suck it.
All right.
I don't even work for them anymore, man. TNA. I don't know if we have a catchphrase over there, but it's not that.
Well, Tyrus, you're a performer.
That's the rumor, yeah.
And do you feel that you are limited in roles because of your appearance?
Yeah.
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 You can't play Peter Pan.
No, they won't let me. I have to be the crocodile because I can go like that in the eyes, and sit in the water and look big, open my mouth. Like, there you go, good job. But no, I study Hamlet. Yeah, good job. Stay there, big guy in the back.
Did you study Hamlet?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. And they wouldn't let me play anything cool in that either, so I quit. Stepped with football.
You could have played Othello.
There's an awe. I tried.
Yeah.
Again.
No, they picked a white guy for Othello.
Yeah, they really did. I went to school in Nebraska. It's not their fault.
Okay.
But, the point is, Hollywood is racist.
Yeah.
And liberal at the same time.
Isn't that weird?
Yep. They're gay and straight.
Yes. That's true.
You know, they're tough and soft.
Yes.
And they don't let Tyrus in Marvel movies, which is garbage.
Ew.
That's literally the biggest crime. Easily the best Red Hulk ever.
Yeah.
Or the Abomination or something. So, but Marvel wants to be all Tyrus. You know, my Marvel life matters.
You know what that it is? What is amazing? No, but I have to say, what you said is actually brilliant. The contradictions that you wrote, that they are liberal and racist, like they believe in progressive causes, but if it doesn't make any money, forget it. They're gay and straight. They talk about gay rights, but if you're an actor and you come out gay, they don't want that. They want you in the closet because you're gonna become Rupert Everett.
Yep.
See, nobody remembers Rupert Everett.
I remember him.
Yes.
I had a crush on him until he came out.
Yeah, there you go.
It's very simple. That's what happened.
Yeah.
Well, there was a big thing, too, about Mark Ruffalo casting a person who was not a transgender person in a transgender role. So it's like the battles that they pick are inconsistent.
Yeah.
Like they're actors, though. They act, so I don't know why that.
I the stories, though.
I think it's very interesting. Now, this focus on diversity at the Oscars didn't solve this.
Yeah.
Or all the Oscars so white hashtags. I just thought the hashtags would just create a diverse movie, right? People totally have the right idea about how to solve problems. They want to look like they care, but they don't care.
No, they don't care.
Exactly.
They just want to look like it. Nomiki, what do you think?
I think there's many layers to this. I think it's important to have the hashtags because now we're talking about it, and that's important. They listen to the public. They listen to the audience.
But there's still all the whitey movies.
But they're all the whitey movies.
Yeah.
But it's unions. So there's a few things. Unions control Hollywood, and the unions are not prioritizing these issues, so I'm calling for them to do that.
Right.
But it's about who are the screenwriters, who are the studio executives, who are calling for these movies that are only about white men and white women, and not enough about, offering different characters that look more like the real America.
But however, the problem is that if that's a small percentage, the guy's going like, well, what if women like to look at male actors? Like, there are more women who go watch NBA than WNBA, a stat I made up. But I assume that I'm probably right, that women actually would rather see James Bond than, I don't know, Angela Lansbury. Another comparison that fails me. Here's my question. If you can choose self-identify gender or race, can you self-identify as a specific person? Can I decide that I'm Julia Roberts?
Yes, but will anybody pay to see that?
I think they would pay to see me as Julia Roberts. I have a Julia Roberts laugh. I won't
But do you raise money like Julia Roberts? Because that's what's really important.
Yes, that's
She's
true.
a great progressive because she fundraises a lot for progressive causes.
Oh, well, that's wonderful.
That's
But
what
works
it's
for
about,
dictators.
right?
But works for,
Exactly.
Well, the other thing, too, is like, you brought up the unions. It's almost like you think SAG is like a real union or something with any power. It's like...
You have health insurance.
Yeah.
SAG is, for people at home, Screen Actors Guild. You guys are getting into the weeds with this SAG stuff.
SAG-AFTRA, actually.
Yeah, there you go. All right, thank you, white pants. Coming up.
It's after Labor Day.
Yes, you've broken some rules. Should homework be banned? Tyrus and Kat debate it to death, or at least until they get bored. Nice hand. An underperforming elementary school, aren't they all, in Massachusetts has banned homework for the year. The plan is to give kids all the instruction and help they need during an extended 8-hour school day. As for students' added free time at home, the school's principal said, quote, "We want them to hang out with families, have dinner, do extracurricular activities, and go to bed." So, is this part of a disturbing new trend that could end civilization as we know it? I hope so. But some schools around the country are doing the same thing. Here to debate, we have former valedictorian Katherine Timpf and TNA wrestler Tyrus. So, Tyrus, your thoughts on the longer school day, the no homework policy?
Terrible idea. Homework is the best prep for the real world. It teaches you accountability, responsibility, and time management skills. But mostly I'm in favor of homework because too much free time after school leads to kids finding their hot teacher Snapchat accounts or other stupid stuff like that. For example, here's what I used to do after school.
Swimmers, take your mark, go! Oh, and he's off. Look at that beautiful start followed by the great underwaters. That flash stroke is killing it.
We'll say, Tyrus, you have put on some weight since then. Kat, what's your response?
Just because you do all your homework as a kid does not guarantee later success. For example, take my friend Steve. That's us in high school. He did all of his homework, never missed an assignment, and you would think he'd be destined for success, right? Wrong. Here's Steve last weekend.
Okay.
Oh, he's following this.
Maybe if Steve had done less algebra homework and more gymnastics, he'd still be with us today.
Well, I hope you're kidding and that guy is okay. I'm sure he had a parachute. Or not. I didn't see one. R.I.P. Tyrus, does the lady have a point that there's no guarantees?
Look, the truth is homework keeps kids out of trouble. And when parents take interest in their kids' academics, the kids do better in school, which leads to better opportunities later in life. Also, consider this chart. Here's what happens to people who don't do homework. 30% end up in prison. Another 33% end up in prison. And the remaining 37%, their ass end up in prison.
Yeah, I kind of feel like that can't be right, Tyrus. But anyway, this whole thing isn't about kids. It's about parents who don't want to help their kids with their homework because they can't remember useless garbage like how to bisect an isosceles triangle. It's letting teachers use the extra hours at school to actually teach so parents don't have to. And what can parents do with that free time? Here's some examples. They can drink beer. They can drink wine. They can drink shots. And then they can pass out drunk the way God intended. You're welcome, parents.
Kat, you've offended parents in triangles. Everyone knows the altitude of the base of the isosceles triangle bisects the vertex angle. It's common knowledge.
That is impressive, large man. Kat, what's your final thoughts?
I worked very hard to learn geometry. I neglected spending time with friends to study geometry. And as it turns out, only like 14 people need to use geometry after high school, and everyone needs to know how to hang out with people. So clearly I learned the wrong thing, and now I'm very alone.
And well-deserved. Tyrus, last word?
As a kid, I did all my homework. Now I'm here on national TV. Do your homework. Anything's possible.
He's right. This is national TV. Barely. All right. As usual, I've learned nothing except that Tyrus is a math whiz. So it's time to take a break. Don't go anywhere. Final thoughts up next. We're almost out of time, so
what you wanted to say all show, but haven't had the chance to say, so here's your chance to say it. Right now.
All right, Nick.
My turn?
Yes.
All right, I got to plug something. My agents wanted me to wear this so that nobody would know that I was on Fox News. But I'm also representing Lucha Libre for Trump.
Oh, okay.
Because we are tired of illegal Mexican wrestlers coming over the border and taking the matches that American wrestlers won't take.
Very good. Nomiki.
I'm so upset I was going to plug the same exact thing. Why did you ruin that for me? I'm going to plug my new show on SiriusXM, Progress, for those of you who love to listen to progressive networks. It's channel 127 on SiriusXM, 9 p.m. to midnight every single night.
I think it'll be splendid. I will tune in. Tyrus?
So today I came into work through a different door.
Yeah.
And I happened to notice that Rupert Murdoch's last name has an H in it.
Yeah.
Like mine.
Right.
So as soon as I got here, I'm calling Ancestry.com.
Yeah.
I'm about to get paid.
Tyrus's real name is George Murdoch, by the way.
Which he didn't know.
Yeah, I didn't know.
He's like, who the hell is George? Love you too, Greg.
I know. All right, don't hurt me. Kat?
I noticed today that when I smile, only one of my teeth sticks out. Look, the right one.
Right? So what is that? Is that going to change anything?
It's more of a fang than a tooth.
Aww.
Is that okay?
We'll have to talk about it after, but we might have to have it removed.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hashtag snaggletooth.
Yes.
I do have I have 2 snaggle teeth.
Thanks to Nick, Searcy, Nomiki, Konst, Tyrus, Katherine, and our studio audience. I'm Greg Gutfeld. I love you, America.